I just moved. Pembroke, New Hampshire,
How long have you been a New Hampshire resident?
all my life.
And what do you currently do for a living?
I am a career level letter carrier for the Postal Service.
The U.S. Postal Service?
Yes.
And how long have you worked in that capacity?
What is up, guys? Welcome to the
Since
Transparency.
September of 2021.
Prior to September 2021, how were you employed?
I was employed as a CPSW, a Child Protective Service worker with the state of New Hampshire for DCYF.
And that acronym that you just gave, CPSW, can you tell the jurors what that means?
Yes, Child Protective Service worker.
How long did you work for DCYF?
Approximately 10 years.
And in your capacity as a caseworker for DCYF, did you have occasion to interact with someone named Adam Montgomery?
I did.
And calling your attention specifically to 2019, the summer of 2019, did you receive a report regarding Adam Montgomery?
I did.
Are you aware of whether or not he had children?
Not when I first received the report.
All right, good morning. We are on jury verdict watch, and we're going to review some material that I wanted to take a look at. So, again, good morning. I wanted to hear this one more time. I'm going to speed it up. He's going to be on like 1.5 speed. Again, good morning. See if we can understand him.
Was the report regarding one of his children?
Yes.
Which child was that?
Specifically, it was Harmony.
Harmony Montgomery.
I'm sorry, Harmony Montgomery.
And was that report regarding an injury to Harmony Montgomery?
Yes.
Do you know who made that initial report?
I do not. It was anonymous.
Good morning.
Do you remember specifically when that report was made?
It was July of 2019, towards the end of the month. Specifically, it was either the 19th or the 29th.
Would looking at your report refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Let's see how many questions are actually relevant. It's 2 Lanas.
Yes, July 29th, 2019.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, so if you just turn that over. Let's face it.
And so I'm just going to ask you to keep your voice up so all the jurors can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
And can you tell us that date again? I missed it.
July 29th, 2019.
And what did you do after your involvement on that call began?
I apologize. Could you be more specific?
So you got a report. What did you do after you received that report?
When I received the report, I initiated trying to make contact with the family in order to see the family, see the children, ascertain safety.
And is that generally what you do, or is that what you did in this specific case?
Generally, that was a standard practice.
In this specific case, though, what did you do?
Specifically, tried to initiate contact. I ended up going out to the listed address in an effort to see the family.
Do you recall what that address was?
I believe it was 77 Guilford Street or Guilford Ave.
Tell us about that trip out to the 77 Guilford Street or Ave.
So I drove to the location, and as I pulled up the location, I noticed a person who I recognized as Adam Montgomery getting into a car.
Okay, so I have a question. How did Adam know that he was on his way and that he would be arriving? Okay, this was an anonymous call. So, were they just like staring out the window? How do they know this? Remember, he didn't get out of his car yet. So how would Adam know that he's on his way? Did he call beforehand?
And let me stop you there.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not until you go back and watch this to see how many
So, Mr. Soros, I'm going to
lots of sidebars.
what's been
in this.
admitted and previously published. It's the State's Exhibit 101.
Mhm.
Do you recognize the individual that's depicted there?
I do. That's Adam Montgomery.
So when you said that you recognized the individual getting into a car, I believe
Yes,
that was this Adam Montgomery?
it was.
How do you have a picture of him to know?
This Adam Montgomery?
How do you know that
Was anyone else
Was he
present?
given a
with him
picture of
who
the
was getting into
dad
that vehicle?
to be able to recognize him?
There
anyone else
was
present with them?
a young girl,
Oh.
a small girl.
That interaction, your observation of the defendant, Adam Montgomery, and the small girl who was with him, how long was that?
Not very long. It basically, as I was pulling up and getting ready to park, they were getting into the vehicle, and I can't remember exactly how far away I was, 30, 40 feet or so. I was parking my car, and I observed them getting into the vehicle.
So you're parking your vehicle. Were you outside of your vehicle when you saw him, or were you still inside
I
your
was
vehicle?
still inside my vehicle.
And this young girl that you saw with the defendant, what was she doing?
And nothing really in particular, just getting into the vehicle. Her father helping her into the vehicle. Excuse me, I didn't know if it was her father at the time. The person, Adam, helping her into the vehicle.
He didn't know if it was her father at the time. That means that they've never interacted as far as in person. Okay? I didn't know that that was her father at the time. Wow.
Specifically with respect to that small female that you saw, how long were you able to observe her for before she got into the vehicle?
Maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Not a long period of time.
And this was from 30 to 40 feet away?
Correct.
I want to back up for just a moment. The child that you were going to see, it was a female, is that right?
Yes.
How long? Sorry, let me strike that. Were you able to clearly see the child when you were in your car there?
I guess as clearly as I could from that distance.
Did you observe anything about the child other than her gender?
No, just it literally just looked like a small child, a female, getting into a car with someone.
How long were they parked there for before they drove away?
Not long. She got into the car. He then got into the car, and they drove away.
And you said the distance already, but was this on a public road, or were they in a driveway or something else?
A public road. They were parked on the side of the road in front of the house that I was going to.
And how many sweatshirts I have that are,
During that home visit, did you interact with a child named Harmony Montgomery?
that's a plain one.
No,
Why not?
aside from
This is my favorite gray color.
at that home visit because she had left. She was the little girl that got into the car
Reason.
Is that something that you learned that day or at a later time?
that day.
While you were at the home attempting to make contact with Harmony, was there anything that drew your attention away as you were approaching the home?
Anything that drew my attention away?
Yes.
Nothing in particular.
Do you
I mean-
recall?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do you recall noting that there was a loud dog that was barking at you?
Yes, there was a loud dog, a large dog barking at me from the property.
And was that before or after the defendant drove away with this young female?
I believe it was after. It was after they left. I approached the property.
So you were unsuccessful in seeing Harmony Montgomery that day.
Correct.
Did you attempt to follow up with the defendant?
I did.
Tell us about those attempts.
That was initiating a phone call and speaking with Adam and trying to arrange a home visit in which I could actually come and see and speak with Harmony.
When were those attempts? You mentioned a phone call. When was that phone call?
I think I would have to look at my notes to refresh my memory, but I believe it was later that day that I spoke with Adam on the phone.
Please do, if you believe that would refresh your recollection.
I'd love to read that report. No way that report's
Yes, it
that
was
long.
later that day.
Did you also attempt to call the defendant on August 1st?
I again would have to refer to my notes.
Please do.
Okay, August 1st.
I did.
Did you speak to the defendant on August 1st?
I did.
What, if anything, did he tell you about Harmony's condition?
I would have to again look at my notes for detail.
Please do. And just look up when your memory's been refreshed. Do you recall what, if anything, the defendant told you about Harmony's condition when you spoke to him on August 1st?
The contact I just reviewed, I was speaking to him about setting up a home visit and that he had one of his children was not feeling well and he needed to take him to be seen.
And
So, we had,
Go ahead.
so we would not be able to have a home visit and it would have to be rescheduled.
And during that conversation, did he also tell you that he believed that Harmony had the same illness as his other child?
That I don't remember. I don't recall.
Do you think that, that reviewing your notes would refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Please do.
This is, I mean, you know, you're coming to court for this. What a total
Soros?
twat.
Is your memory refreshed?
Yes. And Adam did say that he believed Harmony now had the same illness or condition that his other child had.
That again was on August 1st.
Yes.
So 2 days after you went out.
Correct.
At any point during your response, did you have a face-to-face with Harmony Montgomery?
Could you ask me that again? I'm sorry.
At any point during your response, did you have a face-to-face interaction with Harmony Montgomery?
My response, as far as my following up with the report,
Correct.
I did.
When was that?
I believe it was about a week later. The exact date, I don't remember.
Do you think that reviewing your report would refresh your recollection with respect to the date? Can you please do so?
Yes, August 7th or 8th, right?
Yes, it was August 7th, approximately a week later.
What, if anything, did you observe about Harmony's physical appearance when you saw her on August 7th?
Overall, excuse me. Overall, she seemed
So let me strike that question. Specifically, did you notice any markings or injury to her face?
I did notice a small red mark under one of her eyes and some redness with discoloration in the eye that was closest to that.
Did the defendant tell you anything regarding how that injury occurred?
He did. He said that he bought the kids, two younger children, he bought the kids like foam swords or lightsabers, and that they were playing with them, and that Harmony was struck in the face and the eye, and that's how she got that mark.
So, Mr. Soros, I want to switch gears and I want to discuss January of 2020. On January 8th of 2020, did you make contact with the defendant?
I believe so. I would like to review my contacts, please.
I'm sorry, could you speak a little more loudly?
Yes, ma'am.
And repeat the answer to that question?
I do remember receiving a report then, and I don't remember the exact date and whether I made contact or not.
Would it
Adam
refresh your
called,
recollection so that you're aware?
Adam called him.
If may I?
In just a moment, I just. So feel free to review that.
Good morning.
Yes, it was January 8th, 2020.
And how did that communication occur?
I apologize, meaning how did I contact him?
Yes,
Phone.
you spoke to him on the phone.
Yes.
And what, if anything, during that conversation did he say about Harmony Montgomery?
I believe it was that conversation. I would have to check my notes to make sure, because I can't remember if it was that conversation or later when meeting with him that he had told me that Harmony was now living with her biological mother.
You met with him?
Do you recall the specifics of what he said about how she came to be with her biological mother?
He had said that she was having visits with her mother. And again, I'd have to probably look at my notes again, but I believe due to their unstable housing situation, that Harmony ended up staying with her mom.
Did you follow up with Crystal Sorey?
I did make an attempt. I called and I believe I left a voicemail.
If I could have just a moment. Thank you, Mr. Sims. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Attorney Brooks?
Thank you.
They better cross.
Here he goes.
Just in terms of the timeline, a report came in on July 29th of 2019 regarding Harmony, correct? Correct. And specifically, it was that Adam had caused a black eye. That was in the report. Someone referred, whomever it was that made the report referred to it as a shiner, which I interpret as a black eye.
And the report was made anonymously, but you knew the person to be Kevin Montgomery.
I did learn that later on.
Ooh.
So that day you went to the residence, the 29th.
Yes.
But it was a very fleeting encounter. Adam and Harmony were getting in a vehicle as you were arriving.
Correct.
So you observed Harmony for all of 10 seconds, right?
Thereabouts, yeah.
30, 40 feet away.
Mhm.
You were in your car still at the time.
Yes.
But you did have a longer visit, approximately a week later, correct?
Yes.
That was August 7th.
Yes.
You went inside the residence.
I did.
And it sounds like you spoke with Adam, but you also spoke with Harmony.
I did.
Your general or preferred practice is to try and meet with the kid alone, correct?
Correct.
But that doesn't always happen.
Correct.
Sometimes there's a parent there
Sometimes there's a parent there,
or in the next room.
or in the next room.
And you don't have any specific recollection regarding whether anybody was present when you spoke with Harmony.
I don't recall that.
But you were able to visually see Harmony, right?
Yes.
And you noticed a little bit of red in her right eye.
I can't remember if it was a right or left eye, but it was one of the eyes.
In one eye, there was some redness,
Yes.
faded bruising as well.
Yeah, I refer to it as like a faint red mark and then some redness in the eye.
Harmony had her glasses, right?
She did.
She agreed to remove them, right?
Yes.
So that you could look at her.
Yes.
And there's a standard set of questions you ask under these circumstances, right?
I do. I did.
So again, without indicating what the answer was, you would obviously ask her what had happened.
Yes.
And other questions regarding her general safety.
Yes.
Aside from the redness in her eye and the faded bruising, you did not observe anything else concerning regarding Harmony's personal well-being.
I did not.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
All right. Again, just wanted to give us that for this morning. Good morning, everybody. We are on verdict watch, jury deliberations. We all had some time to, sleep on it, just like the jury did, just like the jurors, had last night when we went home. And so now I can't remember if he redirects here. Maybe.
Did I miss it? Did they ask Harmony what happened and what was Harmony's answer? Did I miss it?
No, Lanny,
Are we
you didn't.
protecting state government workers right now?
We're protecting government workers. Oh, fuck. This is Tino with the fuck translation services. He's got a couple.
Just one question for you, Mr. Soros. So if I understand correctly, you're not sure when you spoke with Harmony, if her father was in the room, in another room, or somewhere else.
I don't recall that.
or somewhere else.
Correct. I don't recall that.
All right, you may sit down. All right, you may sit down.
Wow.
Wait, why was that on the fuck? All right. Now he took the stand before Kayla took the stand, okay? And everything I believe is falling and gonna be on. I mean, either you're gonna believe Kayla and her story or you don't. But I'm surprised the state didn't go more into, because I believe Adam actually called this man. Everything I have I have like a 100-page report here. Adam called to let him know that Harmony wasn't going to be living with them anymore due to and then I missed that when he testified. He said due to their unstable housing situation. So he was aware of that. He was aware of that. Interesting. And then he says he tried to call Crystal one time and he believes he left one voice message. And that would have been after January 8th of 2020. I'd love to see some fucking phone records on that. How the hell would you have Crystal's number? Did you ask him for it? Let's see. Now, oopsies. Crystal wasn't asked about that. Crystal actually took the stand before him. Oh, the verdict has been out, or the verdict is not in yet, but the jury basically like yesterday at lunchtime, so 1 o'clock to like probably 5, so that's 4 hours. And now another hour and 15 minutes. So, yeah. So I have them clocked at, now depending if they gave them like their lunch break. So like 1 to 2. So actually like probably like 2 to 5. So 3. They're probably on hour 4. If that's how I would, I would say 4 hours and 17 minutes. That's what I'm going with right now. Jury has been that's how I would say it. I'll do that count for you guys. So, well, there is some decision going on, or there's some, I should say, there's some talking going on back there. It doesn't take 4 hours and 17 minutes to fill out, the forms. So there is definitely some talks. Yeah. I'm just curious to know what number they called and all that good stuff. Definitely. Now, I believe everything's gonna decide on. I believe Kevin to be believable. I think he was totally disgusted. I think that, he didn't hold anything back, and he said he acted like a cocky son of a bitch, and I bashed her all over the fucking house. To say those words, that's. I see him as being believable. I went and looked at his track record. He only has one. I think it's one theft. That's on his record. But let's take a look at this. Let's go. I want to show. We need to put a timeline together. Oh, I did a whole timeline. It's on one of my last lives. Did all that, girl. I'll find it and tell you where to go find that. But I'm going to show you guys. Let's see. Okay. You guys hear Adam's voice for the last time he wasn't in the courtroom for his gun charges. All right.
I understand that I was found guilty by a jury, and I'm not here to dispute that at all. The only consideration that I ask you this morning is for you not to consider anything as it relates to the case regarding my daughter Harmony. I did not kill my daughter Harmony, and I look forward to my upcoming trial to refute those offensive claims.
You admit to each and every element of the offense of falsifying physical evidence and abuse of corpse. Is that accurate? Okay. And did you speak with your lawyers in detail about that?
Yes, I did.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Testimony. We're expecting.
Okay. So, let's do this one now. We'll use this.
Adam repetitively kept punching her in the head.
You didn't have a license at the time?
No.
So you said that Adam was driving, the defendant was driving the vehicle. Where were you in position to the rest of the people in the vehicle?
I was sitting with Harmony in the back seat behind the passenger side.
And where was Harmony?
Next to me and Declan. She was in between
And where was Seamus?
in his car seat on the other side of Declan.
Would that have been behind the driver's seat?
Yes.
You mentioned the Tabitha Scott.
Yes.
Who is she to you?
She's been one of my friends for a long time.
And she was in the car with you that day?
Yes.
Where was she seated?
In the passenger seat.
This is the second.
And what was Tabitha Scott doing with you that day?
We were going to get drugs.
And can you just walk us through the accident, how it occurred?
There was a stop sign, and it was an intersection. There was a stop sign. It was a four-way intersection, and there was a truck that went through their stop sign, and we already had stopped, so we were going and ended up hitting that car, the truck.
Did law enforcement respond to that accident?
Yes.
Did you see an officer?
Yes.
Were the officers able to see Harmony?
No.
Tell the jurors why not.
Adam didn't want the officers to see her because she had black eyes, so she was covered with a blanket.
Were there other people, specific individuals that he would cover Harmony up and keep her hidden from?
Yes.
And tell us who those individuals were.
It was Anthony Madero, and when Tabby was in the car, she didn't look at her, she didn't see her, but she knew she was in the car.
Kayla, so this accident occurred on November 29th.
Wait. So Tabitha Scott again, right here. She said she was in the car, but she never looked at Harmony. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Like, that's where I agree with the defense attorney on that. Like, this story is fucking wild. Think about it. You get in a car, I get it. A bunch of druggies, I get it. I understand that. But what do you mean she just didn't look at Harmony? We're just hiding her under a blanket. And I guess you're going to say, like, I could get this, like, hey, we have to hire her because you have too many people in the car. I understand that. But that would be after the fact. That would be once the accident happened. And the cops aren't on scene right away. So you just all get out of the car, you know what I mean? And, go take one of the adults. Let's just put her in the back seat and throw a blanket over. I don't know. Jesus.
Yes.
I want to turn your attention to December 7th of 2019.
Yeah.
Does that day stand out to you?
Yes.
Why?
This is the day that Harmony passed away.
The day that Harmony passed away?
Yeah.
This is the first time she's ever said that.
You still living in the car at that point?
Yes.
Were you still sleeping in the Colonial Village parking lot?
Yes.
You mentioned
Did you
Harmony
say
having
December
accidents
7th?
and then becoming more frequent at that point.
Yeah.
On December 7th, was she still having those accidents?
Yes.
And had they increased in frequency?
Yes.
Did Harmony have an accident first thing in the morning?
Yes.
And that would have been before you started your day?
Yes.
What happened when she had that accident?
Adam repetitively kept punching her in the head.
Okay. So I want to break that up. That morning, where did you wake up?
At Colonial Village.
And what happened first thing in the morning that morning?
We went to the methadone clinic.
And before you left for the methadone clinic, did Harmony have an accident?
Yes.
And what did the defendant do before you went to the methadone clinic? What did the defendant do to Harmony after that accident?
He was yelling and screaming at her and punching her in the head.
Okay, guys, this is all that matters here. Like this 30 minutes, this is it. Like, this is either you're going to believe this as a juror, because this is the murder part. Okay. And this is it. This is why I put this at for a reason. Because I believe that everything else that I've personally seen is all substantiating all the conceded guilt. That's my take. And so then it's going to be on this part of the trial, which is, I think it's like 30 minutes, talking about December 7th. So here it is.
How did she react to that?
She was crying.
You mentioned the methadone clinic. Was that Habit Opco?
Yes.
And what did you do at the methadone clinic that morning?
Got my dose of methadone, and Adam got his also.
And do you remember who went in first?
No, I don't remember who went first.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And Kayla, I want you to walk the jurors through in as much detail as you can what happened on your route from Habitopco to that Burger King.
Adam was getting really angry from Harmony peeing in the car, and he repetitively kept punching her on the way to Burger King. And there were a couple red lights, and when we were at red lights, he would like go over the driver's seat, like in between the passenger seat, and he was just punching her repetitively in the head.
And you've said there were several times where he punched her repetitively in the head.
Yes.
How many times did he hit her?
I can't count. I don't know.
Were you counting?
No, it wasn't.
How many lights did that car come to where he repetitively struck her?
At least 2 or 3.
Between Habitopco and the Burger King, did the defendant say anything to Harmony?
Told her to shut the fuck up. Stop crying.
You said she was making a weird noise.
Yes.
Can you describe it?
It was like I can't even describe it. It was like a moaning kind of noise, but crying. It was just weird. I can't explain it.
Did you try to help Harmony while he was striking her?
Yes.
Tell the jurors what you did to try to help.
I
Okay.
put my arm up and said to stop.
Okay, remember in the closing arguments, okay, that is not what the prosecutor said in the closing arguments. Did you try to? Yeah, I put my arm up, and he's over there and saying in the closing that she did nothing. She did nothing. She did nothing. Well, Kayla didn't testify that way. Kayla said that she tried to do something and she tried to put her arm out. So when we want to really talk about closing arguments yesterday and who was not representing what correctly, I want to point that out. He wasn't representing Kayla's testimony correctly. Kayla said that she put her arm out.
But he looked at me and he gave me this look that was like evil. It's his crazy eyes. I didn't like it. And I couldn't stop him from hitting her because the look that he gave me was scary. I was scared.
What were you feeling when he looked at you like that?
Like he was either going to hit me or just, I don't know. It was weird. And that was like one of the first times that I've seen him look at me like that.
Was it the last time you saw him look at you like that?
No.
And we'll talk about that more. But I want to focus on this drive. You said that Harmony's crying. She's making this weird noise.
Yeah.
Where was she in the vehicle?
She was behind the passenger seat.
And who was in front of her in that car?
I was.
You described the defendant almost coming over the seat.
Yes.
Was he still driving at that point?
Some kind of like between the red lights, and it definitely at the red lights. I remember that.
How was he striking her?
By punching her in the head.
Where were your other 2 children at that time?
In the back seat.
What were they doing?
They had no idea what was going on.
How old were they?
Seamus was about 2.5, and Declan was 11 months old.
Did you look back at Harmony at any point?
No.
Why not?
Because I was scared.
What were you scared of?
If Adam was going to say something, or if he hurt her really bad, it was going to look really bad.
You were scared of what Harmony would look like? That attempt to intervene, were you successful in that?
No.
Did he stop after that?
Shortly after that.
Shortly after that. Did he say anything to you when he stopped?
He said he thinks that he really hurt her. He felt something.
I didn't understand that there.
When he said that he thinks he really hurt her, where was the
felt
vehicle at that point?
something. I don't mean to be like, does anybody know what they think that could mean? He felt something. Like that he broke her glasses? I didn't understand.
At Burger King?
at the Burger King?
Yes.
And what did the defendant do after he stopped hitting Harmony, after he said, I think I really hurt her?
Nothing.
Did you order food from Burger King?
Yes.
Where was Adam when you were ordering food from Burger King?
In the driver's seat.
Did he go inside to the Burger King or something else?
No. I don't remember going in there.
Did he go through the drive-thru?
Yes.
And so who ordered the food?
Adam did.
And what did you do with the food that he had ordered?
Ate it, gave some to the kids
Where were you when you ate the food?
in the parking lot
Which parking lot?
of Burger King.
The kids were behind you at that point. Is
Yes.
that what you testified to?
Yes.
And who gave them food?
I did.
Did you see Harmony when you were giving them food?
No.
Why not?
Because she was under the blanket.
Who put her under the blanket?
Adam.
That's the same blanket that you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
The same blanket he would cover her with?
Yes.
Where did you go from the Burger King parking lot, Kayla?
Went back to Colonial Village
And how did you get there?
with the vehicle. Adam driving.
Was Harmony still under the blanket when you arrived at Colonial Village?
Yes.
And that moaning that you mentioned, that weird noise that she was making, was she still making it?
No.
How long did that noise that she was making last?
I don't remember. It wasn't. I don't remember. I don't remember if it was too long. I don't remember if it was after we were at Colonial Village for a little bit, or if it was before.
That moaning, did it eventually stop?
Yes.
Did you check on Harmony at any point after the moaning stopped?
No.
Did Adam?
No.
Why didn't you check on her?
Because I was scared.
When you arrived at the Colonial Village parking lot, when you arrived back there, what did you and the defendant do?
We got drugs and got high.
When you say we got drugs and got high, what drugs did you get, Kayla?
Heroin and crack.
And how long did you use those drugs?
Okay, how did you get heroin and crack? Where's this money coming from? This would have been before, tax time. Okay, so I get that you're getting, your welfare money, but remember now, this is going to be a big part of the testimony here. Is that Tone is like, I didn't sell them any drugs when they were at the Colonial Apartments. And he was referring to the 2 days that allegedly that he let them borrow the car. And then he's trying to tell us that he didn't even know that they were staying there. I don't know if I buy that. How do you not know that they're staying in, like, you think that these fucking drug addicts are going to be able to keep that a secret? Okay. I mean, if there's kids crying all the time, if Harmony's crying all the time, nobody heard that, for a week, 2 weeks.
Drugs for in that parking lot?
We were there for probably 10 or 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes, they went back and did drugs.
Where did you go from the Colonial Village parking lot?
I don't remember where we were going, but I know we left.
Where'd you get your
You
drugs
left at
from?
some point.
Why doesn't anybody
What
ask
happened when you
that?
left the parking lot?
We made it to the next street over, going towards Elm Street, and the car died when we got to the traffic light, and it wouldn't start or anything, and so we were stuck without a vehicle.
What was the defendant doing when the car died?
He was trying to get a jump, and there was no jumping the vehicle, and so we ended up having to leave it. And when we were getting out of the car and getting the kids out of the car, Harmony,
Right there, she says the word, he was trying to get it jumped. Remember in the testimony, when they were talking about, no, we've only had it happen ever one time that somebody came to try to jump the vehicle, and they were talking about it only happened with the blue Audi. She just slips up right there and says that they tried to jump the Sebring. And remember then Kim Badera's, or not Kim, what the fuck is her name? Lindsay. She's the one that said, and she was like, yeah, it was the silver car. And then the cops had to call back and say, are you sure it was the silver car and not the blue car? Don't fuck with me and my shit, okay? This is all, I mean, it just doesn't matter if you believe this story or not.
Had passed away.
Let's talk about that. When you say Harmony had passed away, when did you realize that Harmony had passed away?
When Adam was trying to wake her up and she didn't reply or anything.
Was he saying things to her to try to wake her up?
Yeah, he said Harmony, and he kept saying baby girl, like, and trying to budge her, and there was nothing.
Was he touching her?
Yes.
What was he doing to her body at that point?
Trying to figure out what to do and getting all the kids out of the car. He took the duffel bag that was in the trunk and put her in the duffel bag.
You mentioned this duffel bag from the trunk.
Yeah.
Had you seen that duffel bag before, Kayla? What was it used
Yes.
for?
When we got kicked out of the house, we put clothes in there for everybody, and it was in the trunk of the car.
Did you see him put Harmony in that duffel bag?
Yes.
How did he put her in there, Kayla?
He like folded her in half and put her in the duffel bag.
Did he call 911 at any point?
No.
Did you?
No.
And when you saw him put her in that duffel bag, did you attempt to get away, to run?
No.
Why not?
They had the 2 other kids, and I was scared.
Scared of?
That something would happen to me or Adam and the kids.
You said you saw him put her in that duffel bag, fold her up and put her in there.
Yes.
What did her face look like when you saw her go into that bag?
It was all black and blue, and her face was puffy. Her eyes were puffy.
I thought she never looked. I'm so confused.
Did he say anything to you after he put her in that duffel bag?
Okay,
I don't remember.
remember she was too scared to look back. Now she's not, and she saw. And I thought that she was directing traffic. Okay, I'm directing traffic and looking. What? The state should be ashamed of themselves. Fuck you, believe this shit. I'm sorry. Everyone's going to work, like the defense attorney said. That would be true at that time. Okay, we have the time of when this happened. She's directing traffic. She has 2 other little kids. No, that's just Adam, her, 2 other little kids, Harmony, but she's looking to see and directing traffic. Makes me sick.
What did you do after he put her in the duffel bag?
We took the kids and we walked back to Colonial Village.
Walked back. You hear that? Walked back.
What did you do once you arrived at Colonial Village?
Put the bag in the snowbank so Anthony wouldn't see it.
I'm sorry, so that who wouldn't see it, Kayla?
Anthony.
That's Anthony Badero.
Yes.
Where was the snowbank that you put? And sorry, let me clarify. Who
Okay,
put her in the
let me
snowbank?
say this. What do you mean? So Anthony wouldn't see it? Let's back up a little bit. It's a duffel bag. It's there's nothing to see. It's just a bag, right? It's just a duffel bag. Why would Anthony be like, hey, what's all in your bags? You know what I'm saying? Like, and can we pull up let's do some research on what the weather was like then. I want to see these snowbanks that would have been going on at that time. How much snow did they get in the days leading up to this? These snowbanks. The fuck? You would just leave. Anybody could just have taken that. Especially, this is not a nice area. So we think that it's like, it's all people do is steal stuff, right? Just think about that, man. There's no way you're letting that out of your sight. The fuck out of here, man. Just think about that. I don't care drugs or not. Like, you're paranoid then for when you're on drugs. I've been told.
Where was that snowbank that he put her in?
In the embankment from the parking lot,
What was around that snow embankment?
a dumpster, and cars and snow.
Sick.
You said he put it in there so that Anthony Badero wouldn't see.
Yeah.
What did the defendant do after he put that duffel bag in the snowbank?
Left her there. And we got a ride from Madero to get the stuff out of our car.
She says, we got a ride.
And where was your car at that point?
She says, we got a ride. Now, please listen. When the tow truck guy comes on, we got a ride. Okay. When the tow truck guy comes there, he says there were two people there to get the shit out of the car. Two. Okay. If we got a ride, that would be her, Adam, and the two boys in Anthony's car. Then Anthony comes on and they ask Tone, he's like, I don't remember going and getting their stuff with them. Now, what makes more sense for me is there is no way you are leaving that bag. Okay. I don't know if she just fucking I mean, I know that she sucks dick, but is a human being. So her saying Tone doesn't even remember doing that ever. But the tow truck guy said there was two people. He had to stop in mid-tow, drop, the tow in a sense, to let them up, these two people up to get the items. Okay. Now, could Caleb just stayed in the car with the kids? Sure. But I think the guy would have, if he's going to remember there's two people, like, how would you even remember that back then to be asked that question all that time, passing by? You're not going to remember anything like that, in my opinion. You know how many tows you do? I mean, something would seriously have to stand out.
It was at that street. We ended up leaving it, and when we came to the car, it was already getting towed.
See, she knew all this.
So Mr. Badero gave you a ride back to your vehicle?
Yes.
Were you able to get belongings out of the vehicle?
Yes.
And who did that? Who got those items out?
Adam and myself.
Where were your... See? Now go and listen to what the tow truck guy said. The tow truck guy said two people were there. That's it. Okay? And you don't think Tone remember? Like, he was the one that got out there and said that is not true. Like, I didn't take them.
That vehicle was your home at the time.
Yes.
What did you do after that in terms of a shelter?
Madero let us sleep in his car for the weekend.
So when you walked back, the only bag that you left at the embankment was that bag. Your stroller, where'd you put your stroller? Where'd you put any of your other stuff when, you walked back to the Colonial Apartments and you asked, Anthony, did you say, hey, can I throw all this shit in your car? Minus this one bag we're going to hide over here. Get the fuck out of here, man. My take on this case is that how do we even know that Harmony is dead and not sold by these fucking druggies? That's what people that have drug addictions, they need money. Sick.
Till I figured something out.
Just for the weekend?
Yeah.
Is that what you had asked him for? Or is that what he said, just for the weekend?
That's what he said.
And what kind of vehicle did Mr. Badero have?
An Audi,
Do you remember what color it was?
blue,
Was it a car, a sedan, or an SUV?
a car.
Okay, so think about this. Now go back to what's the girls that testified that we like? What's her name? Kim. It is Kim. See, okay, I was right. Kim. So in her testimony here, she says how that car got jumped. They tried to jump it, the Sebring, okay? And Kim writes that it was the silver car when she had talked to police. Then they had to go back to her and they're like, "Are you sure it wasn't the blue a blue car?" Now think about that. What are the odds of, like, this other car they got into, the Audi, that needed to be jumped too, right?
And I want to talk about the time that you were living in that car that weekend. Where was Harmony's body at that point when you were living in Mr. Badero's vehicle?
In the trunk of the car.
And did the defendant ever move it from?
Now, remember, nothing was found in the trunk of that man's car. Like, they got, but when Kim did her interview with the police, she said when the first time she was ever interviewed, she said that she jumped the Sebring. Just so I thought that was interesting. And then they had to go back and talk to her. They're like, "Are you sure it wasn't the blue car?" And she's just like, so, also what Adam could have been hiding up into the ceiling could have been, anything that, like, bloody, if he would have hit her, whatever, hiding bloody clothes, stuff up there. You don't want the shelter to see that. I mean, I don't know why you just wouldn't get rid of stuff like that, but I'm just saying there's all bunch of liars. This whole case featured, if I can talk about a crew, but this is just all lies. And then you have to determine what's true and what's not true. The jury has a very tough, job.
From the trunk of the car to another location.
Yes.
Where would he put it?
Near the dumpster.
Why?
So that he wouldn't see it.
Was it cold outside at the time?
Yes.
You mentioned snow. Was there snow on the ground?
Yes.
Did something happen to the vehicle that first night you were staying in Mr. Badero's car?
Yes, the battery died.
Okay, so
What
boom. The first night that they stayed in the car, the battery died. So on the same day, this would be then Kim. So she testified that Adam was trying to get the car jumped in the middle of the intersection, okay? And he couldn't get it jumped. It wouldn't jump. Then later, okay, they need, "Hey, can you come and jump us?" Like, this is the second time. So they needed 2 jumps that day because they just said, "What happened the first night that y'all stayed?" And the way that they're trying to associate and assimilate, they use Facebook Messenger text messages that were sent. That's how they're, with this guy, Matt, is how they're saying when Kim went, is based off when they asked Matt for a jump. Well, actually, you can't really do that because she testified that Adam, they tried to jump the car. So that could have been Kim. You know, they just fucked this. This is all just, this is so wild, man.
What did the defendant do when the battery died?
Used somebody's phone and called Miss Frayne.
Is that Kimberly Frayne?
Yes.
Are you aware of him communicating with any other people regarding the dead car?
Not that I remember.
At that time, did the defendant have a Facebook account?
Yes.
Do you know if he had a Facebook account?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
But you recall a call to Miss Frayne?
Yes.
And what happened?
Yeah, see, exactly. Like, it would, like, decomposition is going to smell very, very bad, right? And how this was able to go on and just with this alleged smell and nobody knew it. Come on, man. This, Unbelievable. Then they must all in that area must be used to living in shit. Okay, living in fucking. You know, when something goes rotten in your damn refrigerator, you're like hunting to find what that is. Like, I just can't believe that this all was all around all these other people, not these two fucking twats, but all the other people. Like, this is not a smell of this. You know, that's just wild. This is part of the story that's like, I'm sorry, when the defense attorney says, like, this is a crazy story.
And after that call,
She showed up with a battery pack jumper to jump the car.
was she successful in jumping the car?
Yes.
And what were you doing while that was going on?
I was in the car with the kids,
Where was Miss Vrain?
outside of the car with
Where-
Adam,
I was going to ask, where was the defendant? Where was Harmony at that point when the car was being jumped?
in the trunk of the car.
What did you and the defendant do for food during your time in Mr. Badero's car?
Bodero bought us pizza
They had pizza
and
the whole day.
brought it down to the car.
You mentioned being there for 2 nights,
Yes.
and the first night the battery died.
What the kids
Yes.
eat.
When was that pizza given to you?
I think it was the next night. Because he did give us food. For a couple of dinners, he gave us food. We had pizza and stuff like that.
Could you repeat that, please?
A couple of nights we got pizza.
And did you leave Mr. Badero's vehicle after that weekend?
Yes.
After those 2 nights you left?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put a pause here because we have the Tobin Bridge. We went ahead and courtesy of a couple mods, we got video, and we're just going to mute this, but I want you guys to see the drive over the Tobin Bridge and back and exits and stuff like that over in Revere. So. See. Let's see. I'm gonna have to wait till this loads. Okay, it's gonna take a second to load. So we'll be back with that in a second.
Tell the jurors where you went.
I went to my aunt's house,
And what's your aunt's name?
Kimberly Simmons,
Where did Miss Simmons live at the time?
in Manchester.
Was she on South Main Street?
Yes.
And how did you get to your aunt's home?
Bodero dropped us off.
Your Honor,
Okay.
may I approach?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. Maybe I was absent. Where was Kim? Oh, fucking Jesus. What is going on over here on this thing? They're redoing a bunch of our wires over here for they put AT&T got something new going on. I don't know what they're doing, but it's messing with all my shit. Did Kimberly Simmons come to the stand? Because I didn't. I don't have Kimberly Simmons as a witness.
Six and 27.
The idea is stricken, entered as full exhibits.
You mentioned the defendant putting Harmony's body in a duffel bag under the porch.
Yes. Yes.
This is the porch that he put her under.
Yes.
Did you go into the home that day, into your house home?
Yes.
How long were you there for, Kayla?
A few hours. We were trying to figure out where to go.
What was the purpose of your trip to your aunt's home?
To talk so that she could talk to my mother so that she'll let us stay at her place.
What's your mother's name?
Christina Lubin.
So if I understand, you wanted your aunt to talk to your mother?
Yeah.
Did you end up seeing your mother that day?
Yes.
How did you come to see her that day?
She came to pick us all up, myself, Adam, and the kids, the two boys,
Where was Harmony at that point?
in a duffel bag.
And how did your mother pick you up? How did you arrive at your aunt's home?
She came in her van.
Do you guys see how many people came like so close to this bag? This is just, I mean, how many people? Nobody, like, what's that smell? Like, oh my God, what's in these bags? Like, here, let's clean this stuff out. Like, let's wash your guys' clothes. Like, what the fuck? And again, forget Adam's sense of smell, forget hers. The people that they were around, like this aunt, her mom. Then, I mean, all the different places that Harmony was transported around according to Kayla's story here. I mean, if this was anybody else, think about it. If somebody told you this story, would you ever believe it? And now here you have this woman telling this story, okay, after she's committed perjury, not once, but twice, multiple times actually, because then when the defense attorney gets up there, she's like, so you really didn't just commit perjury twice. You committed perjury how many times, Talking about Harmony waving to Bodera because, the 2 weeks that they were living there before December 7th. What about like when they would have went to sleep? My mom's just awesome in the fact that like she would have just been grabbing my stuff just to be like washing it, you know what I mean? Washing all the kids' clothes. Here, let me wash the kids' clothes. Like, who are these people? Fuck Adam and fuck her. Okay. Everybody that would be around them, as in like adults that are functioning in society. Okay. You might not be able to have your kids because of the landlord and blah, blah, but you can't, hey, let's go to the store. Let's get you guys a bunch of stuff, or let's, let me wash all this stuff. Like that to me, that's what's unbelievable. Like Kayla's story is wild. And then we're all gonna sit here and say, like, why would she make all this stuff up? Well, fuck, I don't know. I don't know. If she's gonna say all this, why wouldn't she just, I mean, this is pretty sick, right? Well, I think what just comes back to me is that if Adam already conceded to moving your body, and why wouldn't Adam tell through his attorneys that day when he did all that, say where she was. You're already conceded the guilt of that. There's no, if they find her, it doesn't change. You're conceding to that guilt of that. So why not say, and the only thing that I can think of is that, I mean, I don't even know. It's unreal. Fucking all these people. Absolutely.
And what happened to that bag that Harmony was in when your mother came to pick you up?
We put it in the van.
And when you say we put it in the van, who put it in the van?
Adam.
How long did Harmony's body stay in the van?
Probably about 5 to 10 minutes.
Was it in there while you were traveling somewhere?
Yes,
Where were you going?
to my mother's place.
Did the defendant keep Harmony's body in the van?
For the drive, yes.
What did he do with Harmony's body when you arrived at your mother's home?
He took it out of the van and put her on the side near the trash at first until he figured out where to put her.
And what did he figure out in terms of where to put her?
There was a cooler in the hall walkway that the residents used to get in and out of the building, and it was on my mom's floor level in the hallway. And he put the he put the duffel bag in the cooler.
Okay.
And what was in the duffel bag at that point?
Harmony.
So he removed her from the trash. They put her in this cooler.
Yes.
Her body was still in the duffel bag at that point.
Yes.
Yes, you may. Yes.
And you're telling me that nobody, because on that floor, would have smelled that and looked in that cooler to open it up and see what was in there? Like, this is just what the fuck? It wasn't like it was in the house. This was on that was out in the hallway of the apartment complex. Think about this. If you lived on that floor, you're not going to smell that. And you're not going to go over and be like, what the fuck is in this? Or at least knock on the neighbor's door and say, yo, what the fuck is this smell? What is in this cooler? You need to get this the fuck up out of here. I'm not smelling this, or I'm calling the police. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck? I mean, maybe I'm just too logical.
So I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 28 for identification.
Yes.
Do you recognize that item?
Yes.
What is it?
That is the cooler that was on the porch in my mom's hallway.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of the cooler?
Yes.
That's what it looks like.
No traces, no nothing in that cooler.
Strike the ID and mark as full State's Exhibit 28.
The ID is stricken. It's entered as a full exhibit.
Ready to publish.
Yes, you may.
Me too, especially when I say fucking and it gives me ducking. Bastards.
Kayla, how did Harmony's body fit into this cooler?
Adam pushed it in the cooler so it would fit.
Is that something you saw him do?
Yes.
You saw him just
Were there any
fall
noises when
this.
he did that?
Not that I remember.
How long was she stored in that cooler for?
For a couple weeks.
And how long did you stay with your mother for? How long were you with Christina Lubin?
For a couple weeks.
Get the fuck out of here. Hell to the no. This wasn't like a day. This wasn't 2 days. She said a couple weeks. And actually the mother says it was like December, 9th until the 30th. Okay. December 9th until December 30th when they moved in to the shelter. Give me an absolute break. There is just absolutely no. Go ahead. Let's go get a dead animal that I see on the side of the road, and I will get a cooler, and I'm going to put this dead animal in this cooler, and I'm going to sit it outside of literally between me and my neighbor's house, and I want to see what transpires after 3 weeks if my neighbors aren't knocking on my door and saying, what the fuck is in that cooler? You know, maybe I should just do a whole experiment and go to an apartment complex right around where I live and put the cooler on in the hallway of an apartment complex and fucking do a nanny hidden cam, and let's see how many people walk by it and see what the fuck they do. Let's just do a whole big experiment over here. Okay. I mean,
Did her body stay in that cooler for the entire time you were with your mother?
Yes.
Why?
I honestly don't know.
you don't think that somebody would be wouldn't you be like looking out every single, like, wouldn't you just be, would Adam just be watching that cooler the whole time? There is no, okay, how about even this? Take the smell away. Okay. You're telling me a paranoid person, anybody just going by and takes the cooler, opens up the cooler. I mean, come on. There is just, you would have to feel so confident that how would you have that confidence so that no one's going to ever open up that cooler?
How often did you see that cooler when you were living with your mother?
Every day, multiple times a day,
Where was the cooler kept?
in the hallway.
Was that your mother's hallway, or was it?
It was access to everybody who lives in the building, but it was on the level of my mom's apartment.
And tell us about that hallway. What else was kept there?
I don't remember.
Were there other items in that hallway?
I don't remember.
Where did you go after living with your mother?
To the FIT shelter, families in transition.
And when you moved to the families in transition shelter, does that fit the FIT shelter?
Okay, so don't you think some of the questions you would ask on cross would be like to Kayla's mom, did anybody come up and knock on your door and, did you attempt to look in that cooler? You didn't smell anything? Like, yeah, my AT&T is out. Wi-Fi texting. I'm like, yes, AT&T is down. They're doing a whole revamp. It's something crazy. I can't. When the defense attorney says this is an insane story, okay, it is an insane story. You want to know why this part of the story has to be said? Because they have to get to the U-Haul part. They have to make the U-Haul part of the story, okay? That the U-Haul was used for something, okay? That's why all of this has to be said. You have to be able to account for all of this time while they're homeless, moving all over in a car, no, because then the U-Haul has to be for the purpose of what? To, dump Harmony's remains, right? Again, they're associating and assimilating that U-Haul to be with that. And that's why all of this, like when I went to sleep, last night, I'm like, I want to go back and listen to what Kayla was talking about in terms of like, why did this have to be so outlandish? Why? I mean, and it all comes back to this. It all comes back to, we were not able to find Harmony anywhere. Okay. We were not able to find Harmony anywhere. So what'd you all do? What did y'all do? Because we like, you guys were homeless. You guys were in a car. If he beat her, like, and you know, she, I don't know. Then we did this. Then we did this. Then we did this. Okay. Yeah. No. Where's Harmony? What'd y'all do? And this is the part that I don't believe. And this is the part that is all about the murder charge. I don't understand. Again, and that's why when Bob Mata popped in here yesterday, it's like, yeah, the state did not prove the burden. And I don't think they proved it either. But now the jury has one of the toughest things because, you know, their hearts want to, everybody's heart here wants to say you're guilty of it. Okay. If Adam is found guilty of murder, does that put the states, does that put New Hampshire and Massachusetts, does that lift off of them, like, being held responsible for a wrongful death suit by Kayla or by Crystal Story? Think about that. Don't you think that Crystal Story has a huge wrongful death suit to be filed against both of these states in what they all did in terms of my daughter was, you guys, the custody of my daughter was, but then they're going to say, well, then we gave Adam custody. But you gave Adam custody. There was a whole investigation that was done and it shows that there was negligence. So my question is that if he's found guilty though of killing her, does it take them off the hook in any capacity? And I don't know. But from all the reports that I've read, there's two reports out there, two investigative reports. One's like 103 pages, the other one's like 83, and they flat out say that the state's responsible. The state is negligent, and that they failed Harmony, and they list out the different points on where they failed her. So
When you moved to the fit shelter, where was Harmony's body?
Adam put her in the ceiling in the vent of the room that we stayed in.
okay, so she has no problem saying, listen to this. When she mentions the cooler, she didn't break down like that. When she mentions right there, talking about putting her in the ceiling, she like breaks down, but she's been all these other places, and that was different. And is it because she thought about, is it because she associates that with having sex with him underneath? That's what I'm thinking in my head, and I can't get the fuck out of my head. That, yep. All right. I put her up there. Come on over here, Kayla. Let's get to it. Get the fuck out of here. Disgusting.
What room did you stay in while you lived with families in transition? Families in transition shelter.
It was the first room. It was room 1.
And how did he access the ceiling to store her in there?
He used the bunk bed and climbed up in the ceiling.
Was there something that allowed him to access the ceiling that was above that bunk bed?
It was a vent.
Who slept under that bed?
The kids.
Where did the defendant sleep?
We all slept on the floor on the mattresses.
So
Unbelievable.
I'm showing you what's been previously marked for identification of states exhibit 30
Unbelievable.
through 34. Can you please look at each of these items in turn and describe what's significant?
This is the outside of the family shelter,
And that's states exhibit 30.
and this is the door to room 1, and next to it is the second room.
And that's exhibit 30.
This is the room.
I'm just gonna ask you to move it a little away from the microphone. Thank you.
Yeah.
And when you say this is the room,
How did
whose
you
room
not
is
hear
that?
that
This is the
ruffling?
room that we stayed in.
She's
And that's
so just
The way the room is
unaware.
set up, is that similar to how it was when you
Fucking
were there?
moron.
Yes.
And that's states exhibit 32. Put it states exhibit 33.
She should never be around kids.
The vent above the bed.
Supervised visits for the rest of
And
your
what
life.
happened with that vent?
Adam moved it so he could go in the ceiling.
Now, did you ever touch that vent, Kayla?
No.
So you just watched him.
And states
Like
exhibit
for you to
34?
be able to testify to all this stuff, like you literally watched him do every single step. Because there'd be stuff that you're like, I don't know because I was not watching him do it. But you were just there with him every step of the way. And I get it. Like I always thought, like, hey, you're not going to be able to get Anna Montgomery without her. Okay, well that's because they're tying in this fucking U-Haul bullshit. Okay. The fuck rents a U-Haul? I'll tell you, it's a lot cheaper than renting a car, but why? You don't. That makes. You have Travis Beach's girlfriend just showed up with her mom's car. You have people that have cars, but then they have to be with you, I guess. And here the U-Haul. He could have just been alone and just fucking and didn't want anybody to know. That way nobody could. That's what he's saying. This is all just disgusting. And
That's the vent.
Are those fair and accurate representations? Is that consistent with your memory of what those items look like?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this point, I move to strike ID and Marcusville States Exhibit 30 through 34.
And again, all of this transporting and everything though of the body, again, this is everything to do that what he's already conceded to. So you literally have to rewind at that part of and then listen to the part where she talks about what happened that morning. And then listen to these other people when they want to say that there was corroborating testimony. Tone was not corroborating a word that this woman had to say. In fact, he was saying things complete opposite. They didn't buy drugs from me. I didn't sell them drugs at that time. They didn't exchange me their food stamps for the drugs at, only paying 50% on the food stamp. I didn't go and pick up their shit from the tow truck. I didn't wave at Harmony. I am co-hosting with myself this morning. So, yes, it was a van. It was a U-Haul van. Very easy to rent. If you ever need to, if you want to go, you need a rental for a couple days, just go rent a U-Haul van. Save yourself a shit ton of money. It's $19.99 a day. Just keep that in your back pocket. Fuck shit. What did they do all fucking day, man? What did they legit do all day? And then even after I said after the whole U-Haul incident, what did they do from March of 2020 all the way until basically December 27th, 2021? What the fuck did they do all damn day? Shame on these people's parents. How you could seriously say that you never washed it. 3 weeks was Crystal or not Crystal's was Kayla's mom asked, did you wash any of their clothes? Did they use your washer or dryer? Did you go out and buy them clothes? Did you go to Walmart and buy some clothes for them? I mean, somebody testified that their place had cockroaches in it, just so y'all know. When you guys take people in like this, they can bring bed bugs in. They bring bed bugs in. A lot of times people be like, no, you know what? Keep all that shit, throw all that shit away. Okay. And I'm going to get you guys a couple outfits or whatever. All these people be stealing stuff. Anybody steal themselves some clothes? Go into a place, put some clothes on, put your older clothes back. Again, it's going to come down to, do you believe this woman's story? And maybe it'll put more pressure on, like, what if they do find him not guilty? Do you think maybe that would put more pressure on, maybe Kayla would tell the truth then on something else? I don't fucking know. I don't think that Kayla is looking at any other charges. I think that this is what the state wanted her to say. She did her job. She is not going to be, she has her deal. That's not getting taken off the table, in my opinion. I don't foresee them saying that she perjured herself, because I don't believe that she did. She was coached as well. So, yep. So basically, when you put it all into a nutshell, there's literally like 20 minutes maybe of testimony that has to do with the actual murder, second-degree murder. And that's the part that, the jurors could not take notes. Nope, they could not. And it's crazy. How do you, think about not knowing that much about this case and trying to follow along. And in the beginning, I mean, we had to do a ton of things where I was showing a bunch of stuff, put up, a timeline. Here's this. Here, let's recap this. And here these jurors, no notes, no nothing. So again, we're just waiting for the verdict. We're going to take our own little lunch break here. We'll be back later. And then hopefully I can get this. I want to get this up and going. Got the bridge drive. There you go. I'll make look at that. Those license plate readers. Look at that. Courtesy of Mary and Miss Kelly. There's the Tobin Bridge. They drove all the way from Australia to go take. This is the Tobin Bridge. This is where the van was caught on the readers. We're giving you we're taking the jurors. Oh my God, that car almost hit the damn median, it looked like. Oh, look at that water. Can't throw stuff off that bridge. Yeah, you'd be seen too very easily. Yeah, we can do a video of the marsh. I love field trips. Look at you two. I love it. Did you guys have some lunch? What'd you guys eat? Is there a walkway on the bridge? I don't know. That bridge looks pretty secure. So I don't know. But all right. Until next time, we'll be back. We are on jury watch. We are checking on the hour, on the minute to see when the jury comes back in. Where do you think Harmony is, Lana? I have no clue. And if I was the foreman, I would be asking to hear Kayla's. You don't get the transcripts though. They don't give you the transcripts. So, like how we just reviewed her testimony, like they should have access to everything. It still blows my mind on how they treat how this is all being ran, but all right, guys, be safe out there. We'll talk to you guys soon. I'll give you a call, Boston. I'll hit you up. Again, that's the Tobin Bridge. Bye.